In 1931, while most of the world's fastest trains struggled to reach 60 miles an hour, a German engineer unveiled something that looked more like an aircraft than a railway vehicle. A slender, aluminium-bodied rail car, pushed not by driving wheels, but by a giant spinning aircraft propeller. This machine was the Schienenzeppelin, and it would shatter every expectation of what a train could do. It reached an astonishing 143 miles per hour, faster than most aeroplanes of its era, and yet not a single passenger ever bought a ticket. Railway officials nicknamed it the decapitator. Platforms banned it as too dangerous to approach, and within just a few years, the fastest train on Earth was cut up for scrap. So how did a machine so far ahead of its time end up abandoned before its future was ever realised? The story begins with a man who never thought like a railway engineer. Franz Kruckenberg spent the 1920s working not on trains, but on airships. At companies like Friedrichshafen Zeppelin Works, he learned an obsession that would define his career. Weight mattered, air mattered, and drag was the true enemy of speed. While railway engineers obsessed over heavier locomotives and more powerful steam engines, Kruckenberg believed brute force was the wrong answer. Steam trains were trapped by friction. Steel wheels gripping steel rails could only transmit so much power before slipping uselessly. Beyond about 60 miles an hour, most of that power was simply wasted. To Kruckenberg, the rails weren't the solution. The air was. In 1922, he founded his own engineering office and proposed something radical. Build a train like an aircraft. Strip away the heavy steel, the wood panelling, the luxury interiors. Use an aluminium frame and a lightweight skin. Streamline the body until air resistance fell away. And most shocking of all, abandon wheel-driven propulsion entirely. If friction was the problem, thrust was the answer. Traditional express locomotives of the time weighed more than 70 tons, with axle loads that punished the track. Kruckenberg's design weighed barely 20 tons. 2 men could physically rock it on its axles. The rails would no longer be something to grip, just something to guide. The Schienenzeppelin took shape like no train before it. An aluminium lattice frame borrowed directly from airship construction. A fabric-covered body shaped like a silver bullet. Inside, there were no plush seats or ornamentation, just bare metal, thin cushions, and sealed windows. This wasn't luxury transport. It was a flying laboratory on rails. But the real shock waited at the rear. Instead of driving wheels, Kruckenberg installed a full aircraft engine, a BMW V12 producing around 600 horsepower. A massive wooden propeller, nearly 3 meters across, sat at head height, spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute. The engine was angled slightly downward, forcing the nose onto the rails at speed and preventing lift. The propeller didn't care about wet rails, adhesion limits, or wheel slip. All of the engine's power went straight into forward motion. The rails were no longer a prison. They were a runway. Then came the moment of truth. On June 21st, 1931, a straight section of track was cleared and measured by officials from Deutsche Reichsbahn. Stopwatches ready, instruments calibrated. The throttle opened. The BMW V12 roared like a bomber engine. The propeller blurred into a solid disc. The silver hull surged forward. 60 miles an hour passed effortlessly. 120! Then the speedometer swept past 140. At 143 miles per hour, 230 kilometers an hour, the Schienenzeppelin smashed the world rail speed record, faster than any car in Germany, nearly as fast as the aircraft flying overhead. The press called it the fastest train on Earth. Hamburg to Berlin in just 98 minutes. Kruckenberg's dream had come true, but as the machine slowed, the mood changed. The propeller, still spinning, unleashed a hurricane of wind at platform height. Hats flew. Gravel blasted across the station. Anyone standing too close risked being struck by debris, or worse. Officials quickly realized the terrifying truth: that spinning blade sat unguarded at head height. Even after the engine shut down, it took minutes to slow. One mistake could be fatal. Inspectors reportedly called it a meat slicer. Platforms were cleared before it arrived. What had just rewritten the history books also terrified the people meant to operate it. The Schienenzeppelin had proven what was possible, but it had also shown how innovation could outrun safety. Within a few years, it was withdrawn. No passengers, no production version. Cut up for scrap. Today, maglevs and bullet trains push similar speeds using far safer technology. But the Schienenzeppelin remains a warning from history that brilliance and danger often arrive together. So here's the question: how far should we push technology? And at what cost? If you enjoyed this story of one of the strangest and fastest trains ever built, please like the video, share it with a fellow rail enthusiast, and subscribe to the channel for more incredible railway history. And let me know in the comments, was the Schienenzeppelin genius or madness?